FlowChat Connector, what's happening? Sean back at you here. In this video, we're going to talk about how to sell like a champion. So this is an analogy that I learned from a dear friend of mine, Tom Hopkins, who's also one of the best sales trainers on planet Earth that I'm aware of. He's trained over 20,000 people, along with Pat Leby, who's his partner in crime for where this came from. Stay tuned. This is a good one. What's up, FlowChat Connector? Hope you're doing good today. Sean back at you here with another high-ticket tune-up. Make sure and smash that like button. Share this out to somebody who needs to get better at sales. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about something that's really fun and cool and different. It's a quick analogy that you can remember anytime you're going into a sales event. Now, when you go to not a sales event, but a sales conversation, a sales anything, right? So how to sell like a champion. If you have this mentality every time you go into a place, you're going to win more often than you're not. So let's just dive right into it here. First and foremost, how do we sell like a champion? Of course, you think about champions like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. You got those are basketball champions. You got Tiger Woods. You've got if you're a disc golfer, you know Paul McBeth and Ricky Wysocki and some of these other players who are just champions through and through all the time that always win. And they always have this mentality every time they step on the court or every time they go on the field or whatever they're doing. They have this type of mentality, and I wanted to share it with you because if you can start to ingrain, just remember the word champion. And here we go. So number one is commitment. You have to be committed. Now, what are we committed to? Number one, we're committed to the art of selling. We need to always consistently get better at the craft that we're learning and doing. So if you're trying to get better at sales, read a sales book, like read 5 sales books, read 20 sales books, because when you start to see all the patterns and you learn all the things, it gives you confidence. Confidence leads to the first thing that I know will change everything for you is having conviction. When you have conviction in what you sell and how you sell it, nobody can stop you. So if you look at any champion, they're always committed to the craft. You know, you've probably read books by Tim Grover about Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. These guys, Tim Grover was the trainer for these guys, and they would work harder than any other NBA player, even though they were completely the best players ever. So they're committed to the craft. You need to be committed to the craft. So get committed. It breeds confidence. Secondly, honesty. Always be honest in everything that you do. Say what you do what you say. When you're honest, you win. Right? When you tell lies, a couple of things happen. You build this card of lies, this card house of lies that will collapse on you at one stage or another. It might not happen right away, but it will happen later. So if you can't get the delivery done on the time somebody wants it, say, hey, look, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done by that date. Why is it so important to have it done by that date? Right? And then you can get into the conversation of, well, could I have a little bit of leeway, something like that, right? So there's a lot of ways to be honest about things without saying, well, I just can't do it by that date. Ask why it's so important to have it done by that date, as an example, right? So, but again, in everything that you do, have honesty and integrity in that. A stands for attitude. If you looked at Michael Jordan and you saw his attitude on the court with his teammates, now it's different than the public perception. Even LeBron James. LeBron James is even a harder driver than Michael Jordan was with his teammates. He's very hard on them, but his attitude is always positive. Hey guys, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're always going to win. That's what we do. And so in sales, it's the same thing. We have to have the attitude that we go into the conversation saying to ourselves, and again, this is a little switch of a mindset here. The person that I'm speaking with is 100% the right person to buy my stuff. The person that I'm speaking with is 100% the person that's going to buy my stuff, right? That's the attitude we need to have when we go into a sales conversation. When we get in the sales conversation, it's our job as a sales professional to disqualify them from being 100% fit for what we sell. Most other sales coaches or trainers or people that talk about sales would never tell you to do that. It's rather the opposite. They would tell you, go in there and qualify them. Make sure they're a good fit to buy your stuff. If you change your mindset on this, it's just a quick 180 flip saying, no, this person's a perfect fit. I'm going to ask them questions to see and prove to myself that maybe they're not a fit, right? And then that way, the pressure, the shift in the conversation when that happens is mind blowing. Like, try it, you'll see, right? So, but again, attitude, have a positive one at all times. Next one, master the material. Look, if you don't know what you're selling, if you don't understand the features and benefits, ask somebody who built the thing to teach you this stuff, right? You have to have a very sound knowledge of what you're selling. Now, do you have to know everything about what you sell? No, you don't. Do you have to know everything about how to ask the right questions? Yes, you do. This is where mastering the material makes sense. Learn the right questions to ask. Learn the cadence of what you need to talk about in a sales conversation. Do you have a selling process that's repeatable and duplicatable? If you don't, Get one. There's like 40 or 50 or 100 different selling systems that are out there. We teach the Ascension Selling Method. It's 7 steps, very easy to learn. And once you learn that framework, any conversation you go into, it applies. And so once you've mastered that one thing, you can start to relax on the sales conversation. And you as a sales professional will be able to close more deals because you're in a better place. I call it this place of calm confidence. There's a lot of other people that have different words for it, but I use calm confidence because that's the attitude and mentality when you go into a sales conversation. If you mastered the framework of how you sell, your selling process specifically, you will do better, right? Next one's persistence. Persistence is one of the 3 things. A lot of people always ask me, Sean, what's the one thing that it takes to be an awesome sales professional? And there's not one, there's 3, right? And it comes from doing this type of work here. Number 1 of it is conviction. Number 2 is consistency. Number 3 is persistency. Persistency is key. Never give up. Know that you're going to get knocked down and know that you're going to get kicked onto your back. But if you can see up, you can get up. As a Les Brown quote. So, you are going to get knocked down in the world of sales. People are going to say no to you. Sometimes it's going to hurt. Sometimes you're going to lose the big deal. Don't be afraid of that. Just be persistent. Know that it's coming, expect it, and move through it. It's how you show up and flow through things that's really, truly going to accelerate your growth. And just being persistent and knowing that you're going to get knocked from one side to another. It's not saying it's going to happen all the time, but just knowing that it does happen, as long as you have the way that I get through this one for persistency is I think about what is my business or my company or the thing I'm selling, what does my outcome look like in 3, 5, 10 years from now? And I vision that like when I do my, my morning routine, right? I have a moment of silence where I'm just super hyper present. I talk about affirmations, and then I do this thing called visualization. And visualization, what I always focus on is thinking about, what does this business look like in 3 years from now? What is my position? What's my team look like? How does this all work? Like, that's the vision that we need to have. And then you get into the mix of the day, and we're in the grind. And so we understand that in the grind, you have to be persistent because you're going to get yeses, you're going to get nos, you're going to get maybes. Try to eliminate all the maybes. We should never get one of those. But yeah, be persistent. Next one's the imagination, right? You have to be able to, in any selling conversation, help do something called vision casting with your prospects. This is where you use your imagination and you ask them some questions to prompt them to talk about that visualization in the future. Hey, where's your business going to be? Is there any big elements that are missing from it? Depending on what you're selling, if you're coaching one thing or another, or you're giving them a software, you're doing something else. The idea is to vision cast what they're looking to accomplish and then say, well, do you feel like there's a hole here or here or here? And those holes would be your product or service that you could just plug in. Very easy way to use your imagination to help your prospect develop the future in a conversation. So remember, always keep your imagination ready for that. I think it's valuable. 2 more here. Organized. Look, if you're not organized and you're wasting time, that's probably your biggest pet peeve. I know it's one of mine, right? It's really frustrating when a prospect doesn't have their stuff together. So as a sales pro, what do? We lean in and we say, how do you organize this stuff? You can help them with that. But again, you personally organize your time. Know what pay time versus non-pay time is. Pay time is the time where you're actually doing active things to get more revenue coming into your business. Remember, always revenue, always relevant. As a sales pro, that's what it is. And you have to be organized and know, like, okay, I do all my follow-up work at the non-pay time of the day. The pay time of the day is I need to be engaging with new prospects. That's one great pay time activity. Talking with somebody face-to-face, another great pay time activity. Doing group presentations, building webinars. Those types of things are pay time activity, which should be done during the day, right? And then the non-pay time. This is one of the ways that I organize my time, and I'm able to take breaks in between. So just remember, organization is a key to how to sell like a champion. And lastly, but not least, non-judgment of others, right? Non-judgment. You as a sales professional, yes, you have to stereotype. You have to be able to read the scenario, but you cannot judge other people. Do not do it because you never know. Right? How many times have you been driving into the supermarket and you get into you see somebody and they're in the grocery store and they're wearing rags. They're wearing like a hooded sweatshirt and like baggy shorts, sunglasses, a hat over their face, and they just look like a bum or a hobo. But then they walk out in the parking lot and they jump into a Lamborghini. Right? If we had judged just based on the way that the person was dressed, we would have been like, no way. But then you go out and you see like the type of car that the person's driving, you're like, whoa, like totally shifted my mindset. So non-judgment of others is super valuable, especially when you're starting sales conversations. When you're getting into a sales conversation, take a quick scan and a glance of their background. Like if you're on Zoom, for example, look at how they present themselves. Do they have something that's bright and colorfully and fluffy behind them? Is it a big mess on their desk? It doesn't matter, because that's usually going to teach you the personality profile of that person, which is something we can't judge, but we can sell into. And so non-judgment of others is something that's super key. Like, for example, LeBron James, when he goes into a new game against a new team, does he judge that team? No. Is he aware that that team may have some flaws here, there, or the next place that he can probably capitalize because he's watched all the game plays? Yes. What does that come from? That comes from lots and lots of practice, determination, persistency, consistency, and of course, conviction. And that, my friends, is how to sell like a champion. These are some things that are very valuable for a lot of people. I hope this one helped you. We got a couple of comments here, so let's go to the comments section really quick, see what they have to say. Tony, Tony's in the house. He said, love these videos. Thanks, Sean. You're welcome, Tony. Hopefully this one helped you. And of course, Mr. Chris Baden, our fearless leader here at FlowChat, he said, love that acronym. With that said, guys, you've just been tuned up. Hope this one was valuable. Again, don't forget to smash that like button, share this out to somebody else that can use it. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I can't wait to see you next time.